All right, well, welcome everybody. Let me, what was that little noise? Share the meeting agenda. Can everybody see my screen? No, am I sharing? No.
Not yet.
Oh, that's smart. Okay, let's try this again. I can only do one thing at a time. So recording, done. Share screen, need to figure that one out. Okay. Okay, now can everybody see it? Hopefully.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, so welcome and special guest. Chris is the special guest of the evening. Marcy sent out the March 3rd, March 2nd meeting minutes. So I want to approve those. Beau, I think you are on. I saw you come in. We're going to talk about Beau's board nomination. I want to go through, I sent out the board documentation. Again, I also sent out the sustainability letters from other neighborhood associations. So I want to go through those and make a decision on approving both of those. Well, I guess there are a lot of sustainability letters, so I shouldn't say both, but both of those topics. I want to briefly discuss the April general meeting and topics for that meeting. I will give a brief report on the chair's meeting that we had last night, and then board reports at 7:30, and then we will adjourn at 7:50. Can I have a motion to approve?
Agenda, so moved.
Agenda. All right, Brad, second.
I second it, Cynthia.
All right, Cynthia, thanks. All right, any opposition? Cool. All right, agenda is approved. So Chris, what do you have to say for yourself? You're the special guest, you got 30 seconds.
I miss you all. I've been kind of watching what you're doing. You're doing a great job. Yeah, look forward to seeing everyone in September when I come visit.
Cool, yeah, that'd be awesome. Hopefully we can, oh, we should be able to do something in person. So that would be nice. Hopefully by then we'll see how the city opens up. Well, welcome and thanks for coming.
Yeah, happy to.
Marcy, meeting minutes? I sent them out along with everything else on Sunday. Marcy? Did we lose Marcy?
Sorry, I was unmuted, sorry.
Oh, there we go.
So they went out. Did anybody have any additions or changes that they felt need to be made to the March 6th meeting?
March 2nd.
March
Looks
2nd.
good.
All right, can we have a motion to approve the March 2nd meeting minutes?
So my hair's going to stop.
So moved.
Was that Brad?
Yeah, if I unmute myself.
This is Casey. This is Casey. I'll second.
Casey,
Awesome.
second.
Thank you.
All right, anybody object to approval? No objections. All right, Beau. So Cassie, you wanna, I put you down as leading this one.
Oops, sorry, come off mute. Yes, Beau reached out as someone who was willing to help with communications and some just helping get the word out about events and keeping the newsletter going and finding new stories and things like that. So we talked on the phone for a little bit and he sent through a bio. I can read the bio if that's helpful, or I can maybe put it into the chat.
I sent it out in along with the agenda and
Yep,
everything else.
That's
So
right, you
let's
did.
just
It was in the email.
Yeah, Beau can just give a brief couple
Yeah,
minutes.
Beau, you're on, right?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Beau Bohanan. I've lived in the Overlook area for quite some time, pretty much the whole time I've been in Portland. I am a graphic designer, event planner by trade. Other than that, I run Untapped Trivia here in Portland, and I'm one of the founding members of Shop Overlook, which is the new business association for the Overlook community. My background is in advertising. I've done a lot of social media communication work as well for a multitude of different clients. And not to toot my horn, but I'm a 12 times American Advertising Federation winner. So I have some experience in social media and communications.
Great. And why, what's your interest in joining the board?
My interest in joining the board is I think there is a whole bunch of things. Well, just in general, I think we can grow on what the board is already doing as far as the way we interact and create content for the community to know when upcoming events are, when meetings are, ways that everyone can easily, accessibly get connected until we return to person, but have a bigger presence online, you know, versus using the content from our email over to social media a little bit more, and just letting people know that we're here and we want people to join and get involved.
Great. Okay, so Beau is interested in joining the board. We have 2 positions. I looked, or 3, I guess. Well, the 2-year position, I'm not sure if we should fill, well, we can talk about it, but we have 2 1-year positions. We have Chris's old spot, and then we also had that extra spot. So I would propose that if we make a motion that it's for one of the 1-year positions, so that the neighborhood can vote in a couple of months, 3 months, 6 months. How much do we have till September? 6 months, I guess. Yeah, to fill that position. I feel less comfortable putting anybody really in that 2-year spot unless somebody who's been here wants to move into the 2-year and open up another 1-year spot. Anyways, just my initial thoughts. Does anybody else have any ideas, any thoughts, comments? Then I would like a motion.
What are the other 2 spots? Sorry, my son just interrupted me, so I may have missed what you said. There's a Chris's old spot that's 2 years, and then you said there are 2 other.
No.
What are the? Is there like a title for those spots, or
No.
like a name for the?
We have
chair?
we have 2 1-year spots and 1 2-year spot.
And no title.
No
Yeah.
title.
Because John left and then we still had an open spot other than that, right?
Yes.
And that gets us back in balance too.
And that gets us back in balance. Yep, exactly.
Well, I move that we take Beau on and a 1-year spot, and when we get the and then when we get to September, we can vote on other lengths. But I think he's attended several meetings and it's been pretty active, so I'm very confident with him being on the board.
Agree. So
Uh,
Marcy made a motion. Any second?
Yeah.
Second.
I'll
Yes,
second.
Brad.
Okay.
Yes.
Brad was first.
Yeah, well, certainly like, thanks, Beau, for even being part of this. So appreciate that. Certainly love your help on the homeless update committee, because we're going to start providing a lot more content here, and having you support that, not to write it, but just simply to review and post that'd be great. If that's what I'm hearing your specialty is. That'd be wonderful.
Sounds like Beau's going to get to do a lot of things.
I'm just trying to get my hat in the ring here.
No, it's good. It's good to have new people on, and
Yeah,
people who
awesome.
are enthusiastic and interested in
Yeah,
lots
for
of things.
sure.
So
Yeah,
Thank you.
I want to thank you, Beau, for coming forward. Your experience sounds great, and we certainly can use some help with social media. So what part of the neighborhood do you live in?
Well, as my weird awkward face as someone was singing as they were walking down North Interstate. But no, I live on North Interstate, just between Killingsworth and Alberta.
Oh, okay, good.
great. Anybody else? All right, so let me just ask if there's any opposition to Beau taking a 1-year spot on the board, the remaining 1-year spot of the board. No? Awesome. Great.
Welcome.
Woohoo.
Welcome, Beau.
Thanks, Beau.
Excited
Thank
to have some
you.
help.
Yeah, and Cassie I think you guys have already talked about some of the helping with the communications, and then, yeah, Casey, if you want to talk to Beau about some of the other stuff, working with the homeless
Yes.
liaison. Great. Great. Thanks, Beau. Thanks, everybody. Okay, let's go to the board documentation. I sent that out on Sunday. Actually, I've sent it out, I think, a million times, and then I always forget about it. Brad, you made one update to it. So I added that bullet that you had suggested. And the bullet, let me actually share that one. The bullet was just to apply for yearly reimbursement from the city for communications expenditures, which, yeah, is much needed.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I did not get any other comments. Is there anybody else who had anything? Okay, great. Can I get a motion then to approve this document?
I'll set a motion as Casey.
Okay, Casey's making a motion to approve the Overlook Neighborhood Association roles and responsibilities document for executive board and committee chair positions.
Yes.
I'll second it.
I beat
Brad.
Brad this time.
I think, yep, I think Cynthia, you beat him. Cynthia seconds. Any opposition to the motion? All right. Then I will put in when it was ratified, and then I will send this out as a PDF to the board. All right, thanks for cruising tonight.
Nice work.
Yeah, I think that'll be extremely helpful when we get
Yeah.
new people on board, and we can update it every year. So.
Good initiative.
Okay, sustainability letters.
Yeah.
Grant, are you on?
Yeah. Yeah, so assuming everyone had a chance to read those letters, I don't know if there was any questions that came up, but I guess would the easiest thing be to approve or endorse them all at once, or unless there's like one specifically that someone had questions about?
I would do them all at once.
Okay.
Yeah. And I didn't hear anything back, so from anybody. And I know, Brad, you had some questions about, okay, if there's spelling errors.
Oh, yeah, I did talk to Greg about those, and I guess these might have just been like a previous, he said they had an updated version that caught those, so.
Okay, thank you. No, yeah, it was more than just a spelling error. It was the opposite effect. So I'm glad that they've got it caught. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Cool. Well, then I guess we can move into endorse all these letters from other neighborhood associations.
Okay, Grant makes a motion. Second?
I second.
Marcy seconds. All right, any other comments on any of the letters or questions? Any other discussion? Okay, great. Any opposition to approving the motion? All right, no objections noted. Okay, thanks everybody. Okay, April general meeting, we're cruising 7:10. We're 20 minutes early. Doing pretty well. Who has topics for the April general meeting? So Brad, I know that you have a couple.
Yeah, I believe Nick Coda is on the call, and Nick had expressed an interest in promoting the use of the Greenways Nick, do you want to take a second and explain more about that?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me. I was just pretty much just wanting to kind of do, I guess, a little intro just for kind of what I want to do for the April meeting. And I think I already talked with Alex about this through email, but I was just really wanting to try to provide some more outreach and some, kind of present some resources for folks in our neighborhood about the greenways. I'm seeing a lot of people, especially as the weather is getting nicer, I'm seeing kind of a lot more vehicle traffic on the greenways, which I'm using quite a lot. So I just want to make sure that people are aware, when they end up being on one of these roadways as a driver of a vehicle, what they're intended for, but then also, of course, as really a useful piece of infrastructure for getting around and being socially distant, safe outside. They seem like kind of they're not really presented to new Portlanders. They kind of seem like this very kind of, unless you're really looking for them, you don't really notice them kind of infrastructure. So I just really want to make sure that if anybody hasn't known about them, that this is kind of an opportunity to learn about them. And then maybe I'll provide some resources about, putting on PDX Reporter if they see anything about signage issues or maintenance. Same thing as well as providing maybe a link to PBOT's website to let them know that, hey, this is a little more info about greenways. And I'm working with Bike Lab PDX, this advocacy group, and we're hoping to kind of spread this to a few other neighborhood associations and really just have more outreach and advocacy. And we're calling it the Greenway Steward Program. So where that kind of evolves to, we'll still figure out. But really for this April meeting, it's just presenting and letting people know. And then also coupling that with maybe something in the weekly newsletter, as well as the Overlook Views, the next issue.
Are the greenways the areas that are now, say, local access only? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, actually, that's the safe streets, but
okay.
Yeah, it can be, and they overlap in a lot of neighborhoods, especially ours. The Concord Greenway, which was before the Safe Streets Initiative, which is a COVID era program. But yes, the greenways have been around for a lot longer. But yes, we're talking about Concord is a good example of one that happens to be both.
Okay.
So how much time are you? Like 15 minutes or?
I think 15 minutes is probably perfect amount of time. Really present for 10 and then maybe leave 5 for Q&A if that's possible. And then of course, that's, as we've talked about, I'll get a little blurb together for the newsletter.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I was going to say that would probably make a really great thing to put it to the weekly update that I sent out. And if we can come up with like the maps, especially in the Overlook area of the ones right around us, we can maybe focus on a map of those to point them out, because I know that even in surrounding areas, there's some like right across around Mississippi that people might not be aware of as well.
Yeah, totally. And I can maybe see if I can get something together that really just kind of zooms in on Overlook. But of course, these connect to, all the other neighborhoods kind of around us.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, totally. I can make sure we include that.
That'd be great.
Awesome.
I know that when I moved here, I didn't understand, like in the city where I came from, we called greenways like paths that were through parks, like bike paths in parks, not through neighborhoods. So that was kind of a learning curve. So I think it's good to point that out.
Yeah, and it's totally it's kind of a loose term, and I think it's because greenways is such a vague word in the first place. You might think it is a parkway or maybe just a park. Yeah, so I've talked to Scott Cohen, who's also planning on presenting, and we've kind of coordinated and just made sure that we're not stepping on each other's toes, because he tends to do a lot more work around greenways also. So yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, thank you. And Scott Cohen, who has presented to us before, he asked to come and chat about Slow Streets, which is the local street initiative that we talked about a little bit. So he wants to actually kind of be early in the meeting, Alex, because he's got another meeting to present at also tomorrow night, the night of the 20th.
Okay.
So those are my two topics and at the moment.
Okay, and how much time does he want for Slow Streets?
I think it's again 10 and 5 max.
All right. All right, great. Other items people have.
Wondering if in the most recent past, if anyone has talked from neighborhood emergency team and maybe get an update from them.
Brad, is that the team that you had write a story in the last views, the one prior to?
Yeah.
And who was
Okay.
that? Do you remember?
Michelle Thompson.
Michelle, yeah.
I don't know that we've had them present in a general meeting, have we?
It's
Way
been
long time
a
ago.
while.
Not one I've attended anyways.
Yeah. Pre-pandemic, so it could be times all distorted.
Yeah, Mitch was on the board and would do quite a lot, but he stepped down from the board 4 or 5 years ago, and from the neighborhood emergency team, I think he's not as active. So yeah, it'd be good to have a presentation.
Do we have somebody who will reach out?
Well, I don't know net, but I have done the PSAC meetings. And Mark Wells, who used to be our neighborhood police liaison. Does anybody remember him?
Yeah.
Sure.
So he started another organization that says PSAC, but it's Portland, let's see, Public Safety Committee, not coalition. I can reach out to him if he wants to talk, or if are we looking specifically for the net neighborhood emergency team?
Well, I can reach out to Michelle.
Okay.
See if she wants to do that. So yeah, that's separate from.
That's separate from. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I get them confused. There's so many acronyms.
I still think Mark probably has a lot to offer, and would be happy to come and talk with us. So maybe not at this meeting, but let's see if Michelle's available or Net, and if they aren't, maybe Mark, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do net first, and then maybe the next one we can do. I don't know. Could we do a PSAC even, or with what's his name, Quackenbush? He might not come, but
Worth a try.
we can ask.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe May. Okay. So to PBOT or to transportation net. Anything else aside from the normal updates and stuff?
Do we want Adidas to come back to address the lights? Have we heard anything else on that lately?
They did come and address it, and I believe that everything's been fixed. I think the problem was that the way that the building was initially wired didn't have the timers installed at that time, so they had to have someone come back out and rewire something. So I believe that Lee got confirmation that it's been updated and it shouldn't be an issue. I haven't heard anything else from any of the neighbors.
Yeah.
But does anyone live near there and has noticed?
Yes, I've noticed that early in the morning they're not on.
That's good to hear. I guess I was also wondering if they wanted to give us an update, because isn't their building supposed to be done? I know that they were at the March meeting, but do they want to talk about the reintroduction of employees to the building at all, or should we wait till May?
I think he mentioned that too. He gave the date of July 1st.
Oh, okay.
Is the soonest that it would be, and that's a relative date because at one point they said July of last year, and so they keep pushing it back. So he said that's their current date, but he's not expecting it to necessarily be back then, and then it would be in waves too. So only like the number one priority people would come back on that date, and then
Okay.
introduce
I
more
think
people
maybe
later.
later in the fall we can have
Okay.
another update.
Have we had any other information about the parking? Is anybody having issues down there since the parking permits expired?
I did get one person who asked about it, and I need to write something up for our weekly blast. I'll do that this week since things have slowed down now that basketball's done. I get my life back. That's my own choice, though. And they were just surprised, but kind of when I explained it to them, they understood.
Good.
So, but I think they'll be, and I asked them to track the issue and, let me know if they're having problems. So I will do that for this week and send that to you, Cassie.
All right. That's awesome.
You can send it to Lee.
Okay.
He's the Adidas liaison.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm just speaking for him. He just walked in too, so he is in the room. But I just thought, Stacy, you asked, did Adidas mention a neighborhood tour or open house? He said yes, that's definitely something that they want to do when things open back up.
That'd be great.
Eventually, they will host us there for
Can't wait.
tour. Yeah.
Cool looking from the outside.
Yeah, I walked over there the other day. It looks really nice.
All right. Anything else at this time? We can figure out in a couple of weeks if there's anything else that we need to add. So.
Not right now for me.
All right. Chair report. I went to the North Portland Chairs meeting and a couple of things. So I don't know if you guys have seen the mayor's action table. Has anybody seen those?
Mm-mm.
Let's see if I can pull them up here. Oh, this is lovely. Stupid thing is in my way. Stop sharing so I can get my stupid screen back. Okay. Make sure I can. Okay, everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, so Portland action tables, there are, I think there's five actions that the city is going to, and actually I think this is being run by Sam Adams. He was at our meeting last night and he talked through these different tables, but basically in a nutshell, you can go through them. I will put the link in the chat, but the number one obviously is reputation and recovering, rebranding, right? Trying to get Portland got hit pretty hard over the last year. So they're partnering with Travel Portland and the Portland Business Alliance to rebrand Portland and to figure out ways to do that. Safety and compassion. This one's creating safety measures and solutions to reduce vandalism. So this one's going to look at some of the issues that we're seeing around, right, the vandalism and the petty crimes. I'm not sure who they are partnering with on that one. Clean and green, our favorite one. So this one is focused on cleanup and illegal dumping and removing graffiti. They're working with Solve, and there are a couple things with this one. So one of the things is you can adopt. They also want to partner with, right, just regular citizens. So you can partner. You can contact. For some reason the name's not in here, but I think it's called Adopt a Block or something. I'll put that in the chat too when I find it. It's like adopt a block, and you can adopt your own block, or you can adopt another block, and basically they'll send you all the accoutrements that you need to do it. So they'll send bags, they'll send up the little pickup things, gloves, etc. And then they'll haul the trash away for you. But for bigger ones, they're now partnering with Solve. And what he did say is that they were going to bring back some of the large cleaning events. So they're going to, hopefully this fall, bring back the large containers so that we can have neighborhood cleanups. So I mean, I think this would be great if we could figure out something in the fall to have a neighborhood cleanup and really get Overlook looking better. I think this would be a great thing for us to pay attention to. And then business success and job creation, community events and activation. So they're trying to get people more events occurring in Portland again once things open up. So if people are interested in any of these, you can go to this website and you can sign up. You can participate in any one of these action tables. Again, I think the Solve one, I think maybe after the next few meetings, we can talk about, is there anything that we can do? And are there any events that we want to do, work with Solve to host one of those events? So any questions on those?
Well, I have a comment.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about the action tables. That's an odd phrase. I'm not quite getting it, but some friends sent me an email about Solve and the various cleanups, and it was a group of people who wanted to do something together. So I was perusing and found out, had not heard, that there is going to be a cleanup starting at Panton Square Park. That would be my feedback to Sam Adams or Solve, is that it would be really helpful to communicate to neighborhood associations where the cleanups are taking place, so that that word can go out and people from the neighborhood can sign up, rather than people from everywhere, you know, coming to Overlook and so on. But the one that starts at Panton Square Park is being sponsored by, I think this is correct, Neil Kelly Remodeling on Alberta. So it was full, but they have a waiting list. If it hadn't been full, I would have written a blurb and asked Cassie to post it on a Friday so that people in Overlook could have signed up. But the waiting list is a real good idea, because of course, as something approaches, there's going to be a 5%, fall off. So a space opened up and I signed up, and it's this Saturday from 9 to 11. I suppose, George, I don't know if you're on the meeting with us, but George has always been so active in cleaning up right around Panton Square Park. So we'll start there and then move east. And so it'll include, I guess that's Humboldt, the neighborhood, or no, Elliott. I always get my neighborhoods confused.
No, that's Humboldt.
Is that Humboldt? Okay. So it'll be great to be part of a cleanup. I just, the word is not getting out to the actual neighborhoods. So I signed up for the email for Solve. And if I spot any that are in Overlook, Cassie, I'll let you know so that it can be posted on a Friday.
Yeah, that's great. I know that I follow Solve on Facebook, and they do a lot of different cleanups all over town. But they're usually quite full. So I don't know if it's the same people who are helping out a lot, or if their numbers are just, they keep it smaller because of COVID.
Yeah, I think there were 40 spots for this one. So I don't know if that's typical or not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the ones that I've always clicked on have looked really full and well attended, which is great that they have dedicated people that are willing to do that. So I'm happy to continue looking out through Facebook because I follow them. But if you see something come through on an email list, let me know.
Yep.
That'd be great. And yeah, and let's think about as we move forward, let's think if we want to host one.
Well, I'm kind of interested. It says that they're going to actually tow abandoned cars.
Yeah, it's on there.
But I don't, when when we have the argument with the city about how to move a car because all the tires are gone and the hood's up, they're like, we're not towing abandoned cars. It hasn't been reported stolen. So how can Solve do that if the city won't do it?
I don't think Sol's doing it. I think the
Okay.
city is going to have to do it.
The city's going to come through and do that? Because when
I
they
mean,
clean,
all these things are going to be updated. So, I
Okay.
mean, and these are changes that the city is making. They haven't necessarily made them yet, but these are
Okay.
things that they are going to do. And
because they cleaned up Going Street in end of January, beginning of February, and they cleaned everything out of there except for the cars.
Hmm.
They left 3 cars there. One of them is down at the bottom towards Greeley. And I mean, it obviously had been set on fire and was completely burned out, and they left it there.
yeah, well, these are new. So, yeah, they said they have not, they're waiting on the funding from the federal government to fully commence these. But
Oh, okay.
in the meantime, they are, yeah, getting people interested and setting these goals. The other thing that they said was, you know, they're not very good at responding. There are a lot of people who have sent emails asking to participate and they never get any response. So they're working on that as well. I think this is a work in progress.
All right.
It's a start, but it's definitely not full bore yet. So. All right, anything else on that? The other thing that I had to talk about was the farmers market. So I got an email, and I will send, actually I'll send out the email blurb to you guys since I didn't have time to read about it. But basically there's the St. John's Farmers Market wants to potentially open up a hub or a drop-off site in Overlook where people can sign up and get their vegetables delivered instead of having to go to St. John's Market. So yeah, like I said, I didn't really have time to look through it and figure out what questions we need to ask you guys. But that might be something that we would be interested in. So maybe we can talk about that at the next meeting, actually.
Would that be like a CSA drop off?
I think it's just like people who are working at the farmer's market. I think you could go online and order, you know, vegetables from the different vendors, and then they would have a drop off spot in Overlook that people could go pick them up at. I think it's a pretty interesting idea. So, yeah. And it supports the St. John's Farmers Market. So
would that be at the April general meeting?
Yeah, let's do it I'll just invite her to the April general meeting.
Before they get going. Don't want to wait too long.
Yeah, she just emailed me like a few days ago. So if they're done already.
I think it would be great to see like what the turnout or the orders are like, to see if maybe we should try to get one up and running here in our own farmers market, up and running here in Overlook at some point. If the demand looks pretty decent from orders from St. John's.
Do we have a farmers market here?
We don't.
Not anymore.
Okay.
We used to at Kaiser.
Yep.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay. Let's add her. I'll add her to the St. John's. I'll add her to the next meeting. And then we can discuss. I mean, I think getting our own would be tough, at least now. I mean, I think it might be good to leverage what they're doing. And then if in a year or so.
This would be a good first step.
This would be a good first step. Thank you. Okay, I will have her come to that. All right, then the only other thing was, and Grant, I might be stealing your update, but do you want to talk about the Friends of Trees?
Yeah, sure.
Ideas?
Yeah, we, Alexandra had talked to me about reaching out to Friends of Trees. They do, tree plantings around Portland. And it's kind of late in their season this year. I think they're just like wrapping up most of their plantings. But they did say like, I guess if there's anywhere that we know, like in a public space that we'd like to plant some trees, they will probably have some leftover seedlings or plantings that they will sell for wholesale prices, probably in a couple weeks, or possibly in early May. But I also am talking to them about doing an event in March next year, so we can at least catch them for that planting season.
Will they
Yeah,
plant
and the
it?
idea here was, I thought of this because, you know, we had so many trees fall down in the ice storm like a month ago. And, you know, I know that they had a lot of extra trees and we didn't do any grants this year. So my thought was, hey, do we, you know, is this something that we would be interested in doing? That's potentially buying trees for, you know, neighbors, like having some kind of a grant where we could buy trees for neighbors. But I didn't think about it early enough. So,
Well, we
Nope.
actually still have in our treasury money that is allocated specifically for trees. And that's based on the fundraising that I did for 11 years when we planted those 800 trees over 11 years with Friends of Trees. We had funds left over. So that's sat in our treasury waiting for opportunities. So that's buying trees. Now, if the Friends of Trees is giving them away, that's a different story. But buying trees for neighbors who can't afford them, or maintenance or whatever, that's what that money is for. I think, Brad, isn't it $1,200?
I'm pulling it up right now, but it's not open yet.
Or 1,100 or something?
It
that,
is
or-
trees, $1,268.
Yeah.
perfect.
And it's not giving them away. It sounds like they're going to sell them at wholesale, which is nice to get a discount, but
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
think
would be
Yeah,
wholesale.
that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, just because we're like late in the planting season. So yeah, I mean, we could put out like a announcement that if anyone did want a tree, I asked them to send us their list of what they'll have when they become available.
Are they
Are-
planting the trees, or are they just giving them to you and you plant them?
I think I mean, I don't know, Cynthia, you said you worked with them in the past. It sounds like, I think they help supply, but I think it's like a collaborative.
Okay.
I would think that those at this stage, and given that they're just selling them versus supervising, that they're probably just yard trees. Because
Okay.
to plant one in the parking strip, you would need a permit, and it's a whole thing.
Mhm.
And like you said, Grant, it's late in the season. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think the trees that would be available wholesale will probably just be for like personal use if someone wants
Fruit
them.
trees or whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think if we were to do like an event next year with them, then that would be like a bigger.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
We
might want
lost.
to do. We might want to do.
Yeah, we lost 2 trees in the Pittman Edition Park during
Oh.
the storm. The
Oh,
apple tree and
really?
another one. Yeah.
Oh, the apple tree, really?
The apple tree blew over just before
Oh.
Christmas. The whole roots are up, and they cut that down. And then there's another smaller tree that was kind of at the end of going, and that one split off during the February. And so much of the side of it gone, they just cut it all down. So I'd really love to have a couple more trees in there, because it really helps with the noise from Going Street. It's just as well as having trees in the park.
Yeah, so maybe that's the first step. Like if we can get some, maybe we plant them in the parks. I don't know. Cynthia, you mentioned that Patton Square had lost some trees too, but I don't know if that's something that's allowed. Otherwise,
Yeah, no, well, urban forestry is responsible for that, Portland Parks, but in Pittman, that's the Water Bureau.
Yeah, that's the Water Bureau.
Uh-huh. And who know, did you talk to anybody from the Water Bureau, Marcy?
Yeah,
about
we were
replanting?
talking to Rich Rice, who was helping us and came out, but he literally just retired this
Oh.
last month. So we were talking to Tom Klutz, who was the property manager,
Right.
and asking him like, so you lost 2 really big trees. What are you
Yeah,
gonna
now
do?
what?
Let's get some new stuff in there. But I don't know if they're waiting. I mean, I know that it took a while because a lot of their properties sustained tree damage. So I'll send him an email and ask him what they're gonna do. Or, you know, I'd be more than happy to spend, you know, $30, $40 if they'll come plant it, if that's okay with them. But,
So,
you know,
so Cynthia, is that something that you would be interested in using the tree money for?
Personally,
both
I
parts.
would rather see the money being used for homeowners who can't afford the trees or have, you know,
Okay.
financial difficulty, rather than paying for trees that are going on city property. I think the city should be paying for those.
Yeah.
oh, I agree.
That's
I
their-
agree with you.
It's their responsibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking of maybe because they're not in a position to move so quick to replace the trees. If they say they're replacing the trees, hey, great. But if they're going to go, well, we can do that in a couple of years because this year's budget's gone, next year's budget's set, blah,
Totally
blah.
different story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But
Yeah, so Marcy can kind of
Oh,
sniff it out.
yeah.
and see
I'll
what-
reach out to the Water Bureau and see what they say.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure, I mean, I know they have to replace them.
yeah, and they should.
Yes.
So
Okay. Okay. All right. So it sounds like Grant will get a little bit more information, and then we'll maybe chat at the next meeting about if there's anything.
Is that something that I should put maybe in the weekly update to see if there are neighbors who lost trees in the storms that would want to take part in this?
Probably not yet, not until we get.
Maybe wait
Okay.
until like get the list of like what's
Yeah.
available and then
Got
assuming,
it.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, and then the other option is, okay, then should we do a bigger one next year, right?
Mm-hmm.
When we plan it, it's the timing a little bit better. And my other thought is, I know that Adidas just built that brand new building, and you know they cut down a lot of big trees. And was that something that, you know, would they be interested in donating money for trees as well? You know, it's that carbon footprint. I got to still get them on the carbon footprint.
Well, they're supposed to replace those when they chop them
Yeah,
down,
they did,
don't they?
but they're yeah,
Okay.
little ones, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not the same.
No, it's not the same. That's for sure.
Yeah, but the charges, the fees that they're charged, they do have a formula for if they have to take down trees, then they pay so much money to the city, and the trees aren't necessarily replanted in the same area, but planted somewhere else in the city for those trees. So the cities figure that out. They don't get away with taking out a tree without paying the money for replacement trees somewhere in the city.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's
but
what
we
I've
want 'em
heard.
here.
Yeah, we want them
I
here
want
in our
them to pay for
neighborhood.
it here.
Sure.
I don't want them to go up in Forest Park. I want them in front of my house.
Exactly. Yeah, right in front of mine. Okay, cool. So Grant, you'll get more information and we can talk about it at the next meeting. That was all I had. So let's go on to board reports. Does anybody have anything to report?
I have a question. Has anybody been down Greeley in the last week and knows in front of Adidas whether or not the configuration is straightened out so that you're at the top and bottom of the section that they're doing with the cycle track? I know that they had moved things over, but like the signal lights weren't matching. I'm curious if anybody's been through there. If not, I'll go through there.
I avoid that area like a plague.
Okay.
I do.
The like
Yeah,
merge
about a week.
lanes on Greeley are very confusing now
Okay, all right.
for driving. Like if you're coming up like from interstate,
Yeah.
like it used to be those 2 lanes like merged,
Mm-hmm.
right? Kind of when you hit Adidas, and like it's very, it's seemingly, I don't know if they're done, but I hope not, because it's very, very good.
Yeah, now you have to go right. If you're in the right lane, you have to turn right.
Yeah, it's like there's like a turn right lane, but then they still have like 2 lanes that merge on the other side of the intersection. So like you can still treat it like how it used to be, but it's it's weird. It's like they kind of did a half and half where it's like the right lane can actually still go straight, but then it basically like one lane on the other side of the intersection. It's weird.
Yeah, it is a mess over there.
Okay, so it's not done. Thank you.
We hope not.
Oh, it isn't done. Okay, that's good to hear.
You
Well,
never
yeah, I mean, like coming downhill, the through lane had the left turn signal in front of it, I think.
Yeah.
So that's
I
not,
feel like
that's
they
not
fixed
good.
that, but going up is still a kind of.
Yep, okay, so I'll go make a trip through there and then I'll get on their case.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Nick.
All right.
Right.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I was gonna say, the newsletter's supposed to be out in May.
I am. So we need to start thinking about stories for that.
So Sidonia and I were wondering if you're looking, it sounds like you're looking for ideas for stories for the views. If we do a story like just kind of summarizing the schools in the neighborhood and possibly any of the preschools or daycares, and talking about possibly some summer camps that are available either in the neighborhood or the nearby neighborhoods, or possibly through Parks and Recreation. If there's room
I
for
would
a
love to
story
do a
like
story like that. I know that I saw like something come through over email for the city that childcare and some of the summer activities in parks are coming back this year, I believe, but I'm not, I don't have kids, so I just don't know how it used to be versus how this is. So I would love to have something along those lines for what summer programming is like for the parks. I don't know if Overlook has anything.
There will be a couple of options here in Overlook that I'm aware of already. And Parks and Rec, I think it's going to be limited capacity, and any outdoor pools will not be open for open swim. I believe they're only doing lessons in the outdoor pools this summer that will be open. So that will be good information too, because we don't have a pool here, obviously. So we use those surrounding pools in the summer. So it would be good for folks to know about.
Also, I just found out today, for anyone who has kids, and we can also maybe include that Portland Parks and Rec did a virtual career fair today, and they have another one on the 21st, and they're planning on hiring 1,800 people to run summer programming this summer. So they definitely plan on opening up a little bit more. And currently, we can also include this, they have virtual programming for kiddos.
Wow, that's awesome.
Did you say there was one already, the career fair, and there will be another one coming up when?
On the 21st at 3. And this past one, it was registered through Eventbrite. And I tried to get a youth signed up today, and they were at capacity. So I connected with the person there. So I should have some more information on that soon.
Yeah, if I can find a link, or if you could send me one, I can put that in this coming week's update so that people can get signed up before they're at capacity, hopefully.
Okay, yeah, I'll see. I haven't found the link for the 21st, but as soon as I get, I'll just send that over.
Cool. Any other ideas for the views?
Let's talk about the timing of the views, because I forgot about it. So, May, it needs to be mid-May, right? Is when it goes out. Alan?
The first 2 weeks, anytime in the.
Okay, what's going to be the end of the second week, probably.
So it needs to go to press.
So when does it need to go to press? Yeah.
It's usually after our first board meeting. It goes to press. But we're getting later now.
Okay, so at the next board meeting, we can go through the newsletter and approve it, which means we would have to write stories
this
in
month.
the next month.
Right.
Okay, so we have schools. And so what's the deadline for writing letters? That would be April 21st.
The next meeting is May 4th, so yeah, it'd probably be April 30th, which is a Friday.
April 30th. Okay. April 30th, information for the newsletters due. So we have schools. What else? We have Chris's letter, which I was gonna post.
What letter?
The letter that Chris wrote to the neighborhood upon his resignation.
Oh. Got it.
The Nick's blurb about the Greenways.
Okay.
And I can throw something in, expand on the Adidas parking so that that gets to more people than the email blast probably will.
Okay. We could potentially put something in there on the, I don't know, maybe on the mayor's tables if we figure it out.
I do like, I think it's a weird name, I agree. But I do like the concept because some people are going, you know, one, they're frustrated and they're willing to help. And how can they help? So maybe this helps get them tied in.
Okay. That also might be a good one for the weekly update.
You,
Did I already
I
do
noticed.
that?
Oh, so sorry.
Did I already do that for this week? Cassie.
Yeah, you did that.
Okay, never mind. I'll do one for the newsletter. I work too
For
much.
the views I noticed on the back, since COVID, not all the businesses are up to date and their hours aren't up to date. I'd be willing to take a look at those and edit that if that's something that we feel should happen for this next newsletter.
That'd be great, Sidonia.
That'd be awesome.
And I can provide you a list of all the updated hours and businesses in the neighborhood. We also have 5 new businesses opening in Overlook between now and fall.
Let's do a story on those.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
nice.
we will.
Story.
Can you do that, Beau?
Yeah, I can work with Sidonia on it. Yeah.
Hey, that sounds good.
Cool.
All right, that's pretty good.
Is there anything that you can do, not just updating the story, like the hours and things, but you said that there's 5 new businesses opening up between now and fall. Is there something where we can actually interview one of these businesses and talk about what their experience is opening a new business during this time?
Well, both 2 that I know that we possibly could interview, these would be like 2nd and 3rd locations for them. So
okay.
I can reach out to Toro Bravo or not Toro Bravo.
Dang it.
Stacy, I forgot their name. What was their name? Earlier.
Well, there's Blind Ox, which
Blind
is
Ox is open
2nd location.
Space.
There's
I think it is Toro Bravo, the chicken place.
Yeah, Toro Bravo. That's right.
Yep. Foxy Coffee is new.
Yeah, they're new too.
And then there's going to be a new micro food cart at the corner of Denver and Killingsworth, across from Atomic Pizza, on the ground floor of the new apartment building there.
Yeah, I know that we mentioned that when we wrote a story last views about the apartment complex and just what it would be, but they haven't, I know they're still under construction for the food part.
They just posted a sign like within the last week that the space is available, and they listed the contact information for anyone interested. It looks like a nice space and a nice idea.
Yeah.
Probably for quick in and out. So, you know, people wouldn't have to, there's not a lot of parking over there, obviously. So for people walking in the neighborhood to stop in for a quick snack. I don't think there's going to be any seating inside. It looks like maybe the seating is just going to be outside, and it's not clear whether the little courtyard in the back is going to be open to the public or if that's open just to residents or not.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a list somewhere of, like, are these businesses in the back just, are any of them paid businesses, like paid listings? Because I know
back of the views.
I don't think so. We were going to, and then it didn't happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, COVID hit. We decided not to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we left it at if people wanted to advertise, they could. We just weren't going to charge them for it.
Cool. All right.
Well, if they wanted like a bigger spot, I think we still had the little blurb in the newsletter, right?
Right.
Is that still in there?
Yep.
Okay, so it sounds like, so Sidonia, you're going to do one on bringing the businesses up to date in the back, and Beau's going to help you, and then Beau, you're going to investigate a story on one of the new businesses coming in. One or two, probably, would be great. Cool. All right. Anything else?
What's the due date for this again? Sorry.
April 30th.
Okay, thank you.
And I'd push it up. I mean, let me ask you this. Who submits it to Chelsea to put together?
I did last time.
Okay. Did you send it all at once, or did you send them as the articles came in?
All at once.
Okay. That sounds fine. Can you confirm with her that the date's good?
Yeah, I will. So
Thank
what
you.
I'll probably say is let's shoot for actually like April 28th. I'll double check that with her, but that gives us a little cushion time too, if that's okay with everyone.
Yep. April 28th.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks. Thanks for reminding us, Alan.
Yes. Let's see.
Does that cover all what we need, or typically how many pages?
It's quite a few. So schools, this is letter, Nick's Greenway. The Greenway can have a map, Brad's Adidas parking, mayor's tables, bringing up the businesses up to date, and then a story on the new businesses.
Are we going to do the summer programming at parks and schools as separate articles, or are those one or two?
I feel like for this one, they'd probably be combined just because I just checked Portland Parks and Rec and they didn't even have that career fair for the 21st or 2021 summer programming yet.
Just do a story on like summer programming for kids and schools and status update on all that.
Sounds good.
I'm wondering if in there that we should, at the beginning, Cassie mentioned, or somewhere mentioned that unfortunately there will be no movie in Overlook Park. However, here is all the other programming that Portland Parks is doing, you know, so that could be mentioned because some people might go, oh, I wonder what's happening.
Okay.
They're not doing any movies this summer.
Yeah, good to note.
I think the smaller events will be able to happen because it doesn't take quite so much work to pull them off.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody know if the July neighborhood yard sale is happening or not?
Don't know.
It's been quiet as far as I've heard. I think that, will it happen? Yeah, it probably could, maybe. Like everything else right now. So I think, yeah, you hate to have them save the date and get everything cleaned out of your house only to not have it happen.
Yeah. Is that Josh Talbot from?
Yeah, Josh is usually the
Overlook?
one who,
Yeah.
who organizes.
I'll reach out to him and ask.
Oh, okay.
Great.
That'd be great.
Because this would be the time to, if we're going to put a blurb in the newsletter about it, next one won't be a little late.
Okay, I made a note of that too. Great, I will send out a recap of this. Alex, are you going to do a letter from the chair, or is that going to be kind of Chris's letter?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Right, okay. And then the only other thing, I know Casey jumped off, but if we want to do some sort of a homeless update.
Let's not do it this time.
Not do it?
I think we got a lot of stuff in there.
Okay, sounds good.
Letter from the
All right,
chair.
I will
Yeah,
send a
I'll do
recap with kind of all of these and then who volunteered to be writing and the dates.
Yeah, and as part of my the board update or the letter from the chair, I'll do I'll talk about Beau, you being on, so I might talk about
Introduction.
do an introduction to you. And then I might do, since we haven't really done the chairs, I might do that as well as mine. All right, schools and land use and sustainability.
So Casey also mentioned an idea for an article about the Overlook House also, not just the houseless issues. But.
Well, historically, there would always be in the newsletter a section about classes at Overlook House and, you know, activities that were going on. Of course, Santa and Halloween. But for the last year, nothing's been going on.
I saw recently.
Yeah, they're looking
they
for
were looking for help. So for paid
right?
events, yeah.
Yeah. So
public events, I don't know.
We can put something in a blurb on the update if something comes up. Unless you see something in research in the next couple of weeks.
And actually, Stacy, when you reach out to Josh about the neighborhood garage sale, why don't you ask him if there's anything going on? Because I think he's still on the board.
Yeah, and his wife, I think, is the person that.
Or his wife. Okay.
Yeah, Taylor.
Yeah,
Taylor. Yeah. So I'll reach out to both of them. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Cool.
I did have another thing I was going to bring up tonight, and that's just I was contacted by someone who lives on Skidmore Court, and about the traffic because of the bluffs during the summer months. And as someone who lives on Skidmore Court, I know exactly what she's talking about. It doesn't, you know, for me, it's to be expected, but I think she kind of reached her breaking point because she saw someone literally hit her car, and the traffic is tight. And I think that not everyone loves the amount of people who are on the street, especially this last year with COVID and feeling like it's just a lot of people coming by. But so I told her I would bring it up. I don't know that the neighborhood association can do anything about that because I don't know what the parking, like we went through with Adidas, I don't know what it would take to get something like that on the street. I'm not going to advocate for that necessarily because I feel like I shouldn't because I live here. And then a little bias maybe. I know that Skidmore Terrace, one block over, has no parking on that whole block. I know for me, the only concern I have is that it's so packed that if there was a fire or emergency, I don't think vehicles would be able to get through on our block in the evening hours. But that's the biggest gripe that I would be able to have about it. But again, not sure what the neighborhood association can do, but if there is a suggestion, I was going to bring it up.
Well,
Brad, do you know what the codes are? Oh yeah, go ahead, Cynthia.
I've been working with the neighbors on both of those streets for years now, ever since the city bought out the private property owner and made that area, Metro had it and it turned it over to Portland Parks and so on and so on. And so there are new issues and old chronic issues constantly. And I've gotten in touch with Portland Parks managers. We've had a Zoom meeting with the affected residents, and Ellen Clem is kind of spearheading interfacing with Portland Parks. So nobody has really mentioned parking as an issue. It's everything else. So I think, Cassie, I'm not sure if you were bringing this up. Just as a topic, you said you were going to just bring it up as a topic, not something.
I just wanted to bring it up because I was emailed about it.
Oh, you were emailed about it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm assuming that there are going to continue to be with Ellen as the point person. There are going to be some meetings and some planning to prevent the problems from last year and the year before. So to be continued.
Okay, so someone is working on it. It sounds like. What was that person's name? Maybe I can have her connect with them.
I think she's
Ellen Clem,
moving.
K-L-E-M, lives very close, either next door to the park or a couple doors down. And she's gotten neighbors together. There's quite a long email list of affected residents who are on that chain. So like I said, I'm assuming that Ellen will coordinate some kind of meetings and activity and planning with the Portland Parks managers.
Okay.
Yeah, I think part of it would be it's difficult once you pull in there and it's full, then to get back out.
Exactly. So people, I think this person who emailed me said that their car was hit because someone was trying to turn around, and it's difficult to navigate.
So that might be something for them to discuss, at least, is, would they want to do something as far as blocking off the street to, you need to park back here. They park back at my house and I'm a quarter mile back.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but I could see the point of, you don't want all these people driving all the way to there and then figure out, oh yeah, and that's a problem down there.
I'll email Ellen and say that that I'm sure this is not a new issue, but that this has come up and that she should bring it up, raise it with Portland Parks, even though it wouldn't be a Portland Parks. It's not in their purview. It'd be more PBOT, right?
Yeah, I would think. And I don't know if that's something like even doing parking on one side only would certainly help people be able to turn around at least, because it's a dead end street. I don't know if that's even an option.
Cynthia, do you know if it was that group that came up with the Skidmore Terrace no parking solution?
I
Is it Ellen's group?
Yeah, I don't remember this being raised at all as an issue.
Yeah, it just kind of happened. I was not aware of it either. No, I don't know if I wasn't tracking at that point. So, okay.
I can't find that email right now, so I can't remember her name who emailed me, but I'll connect her. I'll let her know that there is a group that I can connect her with if she wants to have a larger voice.
Yeah, I'll how about this, Cassie? I'll email Ellen copying you.
Yeah, that's great.
And then you can piggyback on with your input to this whole issue.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool, thanks. All right, any other updates on the board? Are we good to go?
Well, Sidonia and I have met and drafted an intro email to the schools in the neighborhood, just introducing ourselves as the school liaison chairs and asking for ideas about how they want to be involved more in the neighborhood, and then offering to the schools, like, to communicate any notices from them, especially about fundraisers and how the neighborhood could support the schools more. And also kind of bounce the idea around of having some kind of gathering in the early year of 2022 to let neighbors know what their options are for schools and daycare in the neighborhood, sort of like an open house, but have it in one spot, like a one-stop shopping kind of thing, where the schools could table at the event and people could gather information. I belong to quite a few online Facebook groups, and like the questions come up every every winter, like, oh, what's going on with the lotteries? What do you know about beach? What's going on with the lottery at Ivy? So it would be good to have all the information in one spot for families to visit. And every time I turn around, there's a new family moving into the neighborhood, which is hard to believe considering how low inventory is on the housing, but, or just kids aging out of daycare and registering for kindergarten and whatnot. So, and we just had some other ideas about community building things, having the school involved, and we're throwing around some ideas maybe with the placemaking grant for next fall. So people seem to be excited about it. And I did speak with Ivy about the mess on the sidewalk. I think they had the janitor go out and sweep the sidewalk, and I'm working with the grounds committee on the PTA about getting a few people together to rake out all the leaf litter under the shrubbery there. The school is still discouraging groups of people to get together, so there won't be a big work party this spring that we've had in the past, but it's been brought to their attention and we'll try to address it soon.
That's great.
That's great. Thanks for the update.
I think that letter that you said you were drafting, would you be able to share that out to the board?
Sure, yeah.
That'd be great.
We're about ready to send it out, but I can delay it by a couple of days and have you guys, or do you want me to copy you guys or show it to you before we send it?
That'd be good to show it before.
Yeah, sure.
Just for us to review.
Thank you.
Cool. All right, thanks. Anybody else? All right, well, thanks you guys. Thanks for joining, Chris. And our next meeting is, let's see, April 20th will be the next general meeting, and then the next board meeting will be on May 4th.
All right.
Almost a Cinco de Mayo.
It's Star Wars Day.
May the 4th be with you.
Funny. All right, everybody. You guys have a great night.
Thank you.
Good
night.
Bye. Bye.